Hello friends, yesterday we learned the lesson, some part of the lesson, a letter by Hazlitt to his son. Let's we start the remaining part of the lesson. Towards universal brotherhood, you seemed at first to take no notice of your school fellows or to set yourself against them because they were strangers to you. William Hazlitt also suggests to his son that he has not set his views against the other fellow students because they are stranger to him. They knew as little of you as you did of them. The fellow students little knew about him. This would have been a reason for their keeping aloof from you, as well, which you would have felt as a hardship. That is the main reason they live aloof from him. Learn never to conceive a prejudice against others because you know nothing of them. You know nothing of them. Never to conceive a prejudice. He also warned his son that never to conceive a prejudice against other students or fellow students or the fellow friends because he knew nothing of them. It is a bad reasoning and makes enemies of half the world, and it is a very bad for the human beings. Do not think ill of them till they behave ill to you, and then strive to avoid the faults which you see in them. Do not think ill of them. Don't think ill of the other fellows if they behave ill to him, and then strive to avoid the fault which you see in them, and you also tried to avoid the fault of the fellow students. This will disarm their hostility sooner than pique or resentment or complaint. And these happenings will disarm the personality of the human beings. I thought you were disposed to criticize the dress of some boys as not as good as your own. By seeing the dress of the other people, the son of William Hazlitt was very disposed to criticize them, but he warned his son that never despite anyone for anything that he cannot help, least of all for his poverty. And he also suggested him that his son would not be despise any friends or any fellow students for their poverty. I would wish you to keep up appearances yourself as a defense against the idle sneer of the world, but I would not have you value yourself upon them. I hope you will neither be the dupe nor victims of vulgar prejudices, and he also suggested him that he should not be victim of the vulgar prejudices, meaning victim of the bad things. He should not be learn the bad things of the fellow students, or also avoid the bad things of the other fellow students. Instead of saying never despite anyone for anything that he cannot help, I might have said never despite anyone at all, for contempt implies a triumph over and pleasure in the ill of another. And he also warned him that despite the never despite anyone for anything that he cannot help, and he used the sentence never despite anyone at all. He should not be despised, or he should not be underestimate to anything, underestimate anyone for anything that he could not help. Never despite anyone at all, for contempt implies a triumph over and pleasure in the ill of another, and never be happy with the ill of other people. It means you are glad and congratulate yourself on their failings or misfortunes. It is not the misfortunes or failing of the other peoples. You complain since that the boys laugh at you and do not care about you. You complain since that the boys laugh at you and do not care about you, and that you are not treated as you were at home. When the boys laughs at the son of William Hadley, then he avoid such type of behavior of the boys, and because the boys knew nothing about him. My dear, that is one chief reason for you being sent to school, to inure you betimes to the unavoidable rubs and uncertain reception you may meet with in life. And that is the only reason to send him in the school, because he maintain or he has the power to absorb the failures and the avoidable things from the other fellow children's, unavoidable things from the fellow students. You cannot always be with me, and perhaps it is as well that you cannot. And William Hadley is not support with his son always or any time. He also learn from his own background, or he tackles the situation in his own views. That's why Hadley wanted to capable his son to handle any situation while facing in his life. But you must not expect others to show the same concern about you as I should. He also warned him that the other people should not be treated with him like his father. You have now got among other boys who are your equals or bigger and stronger than yourself, and who have something else to attend to besides humoring your whims and fancies, and you feel this as a repulse or piece of injustice. But the first lesson to learn in that there are other people in the world besides yourself. And when the stronger or bigger people around us, then you learn from the lesson from such type of peoples. There are a number of boys in the school where you are, whose amusements and pursuits are and ought to be of as much consequence to them as yours can be to you, and to which therefore you must give way in your turn. The more air to childish self importance you give yourself, you will only expose yourself to be the more hated and laughed at. True equality is the only one morality or true wisdom. True equality. While living in the school, there are number of boys in the school. Their views and opinions, likes and dislikes are others as compared to the child of William Hazlitt. And he also warned his child that he culled the good things from every students in the school. The more air to childish self-importance you give yourself, you will only expose yourself to be the more haters and laughed at. True equality is the only one morality or true wisdom, and you should treat it the all his fellow students in an equal manner, not to distinguish them in higher or lower strata of life. Remember always that you are but one among others, and you can hardly mistake your place in society. In your father's house, you might do as you pleased. In the world, you will find competitors at every turn. And William Hazlitt also warned him that in the house of father, every son live in a very happy and favorable and likable moods. But when he or she lives outside the house, means lives in the air in the world, then he or she finds competitors in every turn, at every turn of their life. You are not born a king's son to destroy or dictate to millions. You can only expect to share their fate or settle your differences amicably with them. He also mostly warned his child that his child is not a child of any king to destroy the other peoples or to dictate the millions of people or millions of students. He only expect to share the fate of other fellow students or settle their differences in a very friendly mood. You always find it so at school. You already find it so at school, and I wish you to be reconciled to your situation as soon and with as little pain as you can. And he also congratulated his son that he should be reconciled or he should learn to adjust in his situation in a very soon, and he also adjust a very little pain in your school life. Finally, he congratulated his son to live in a very happy and adjustable condition in the school. Lastly, I am, dear little fellow, your affectionate father, William Hazlitt. Every father is affectionate as far as his son is concerned, but every parents wanted to learn his child the basic conditions or basic needs of the world. Whenever the child left the house, then he learned the more as far as the house is concerned. Hello friends, now we will stop here and we here complete the lesson.